Okay, here are your solutions to the guided practice for section 3-5. In our first problem, we're being asked to state the x and the y intercepts and then use those intercepts to graph the equation. So the y-intercept is easy. We go right here to -9. So the y-intercept is -9. And then to solve for the x-intercept, we're going to set y equal to 0. So we have 0 equals 3x minus 9. We are going to add 9 to both sides of the equation. The variable here tells us that. We have a 0 pair here. We now have 3x equals 9. We divide both sides by 3 because that's what the variable once again is telling us to do. We have a case where this will cancel each other out and we will have x equals 3. So we have x equals 3, and remember when y equals 0 and x equals 3, that is our x-intercept. So we have an x-intercept of 3, as we stated, and our y-intercept is right up here at -9. Notice that we're counting by 2 here. So we have -8, -10 would be right there, -9 is halfway between. So now we're going to draw an arrow through this as best we can. So we're going to start here and go right through, and there is our line. Now let's take a look at problem number 2. Again, we can quickly identify the y-intercept as 2. So we're going to look here, and we're going to go y-intercept of 2. So we have 0 equals 1/2 x plus 2. This tells us we're going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. And we have -2 equals 1/2 x. We have a 0 pair here, so it's gone. This here tells us that I can now multiply both sides of the equation by 2 over 1, or just 2. So if I multiply this side by 2, I have -2 times +2 would be -4 equals x, because these two cancel each other out. So now we have an x-intercept of -4. So they didn't label this, so we should probably label this, and really all you have to do is label one unit. So let's say we call this 1, and we will call this one here +1. So we see that we're counting by ones, and we're going to move to -4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, and we have a point right there. So the next thing we need to do is draw our line, and it looks like it's going to come through right here, go right through these 2 points, and it's going to go right exactly to 1 unit below the corner of our graph. Okay, problem number 3 tells us that a store sells juice boxes in packages of 6 and 8 boxes, total of 288 total juice boxes. This is represented by the function 6x plus 8y equals 288, where this is the number of 6 boxes, this is the number of 8 package boxes, and this is our total juice boxes. So we can use the x and y intercepts once we find them to graph the equation. So we're going to set up 2 equations to start this out. First of all, we're going to say 6x plus 8y equals 288. If we make x 0, this will 0 out, and we will have 8y equals 288. And of course we're going to divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 would be 1y equals 288 divided by 8 is 36. The next thing we can do is do the same thing with the 6x plus 8y, but put a 0 in for y, which would give us, let's draw a line here, 6x equals 288, because of course 0 times 8y would be 0, so it would just be 6x equals 288, which means we divide both sides by 6, and now this cancels out, and we have 288 divided by 6, in this case is 48. So we have an x and a y-intercept here. Our y-intercept is 36. So we go to on the y-axis. Notice we're counting by 5. So right here is 35. So just a little bit above that would be our 36. Then our x-intercept is at 48. So here we have 45, here's 50, so 48 should be right about there. And then we're going to draw our line, which we draw very straight from this point here down to that point there. So there's the first part of it. It says use the x and y intercepts to graph the equation. So that's the graphing of the equation. And then they say interpret those x and y intercepts. Okay, so here is our y-intercept. What the y-intercept means, so we're going to put y-intercept means that we can buy 35 8-box units, but if we do, then we won't be able to buy any 6-box. So it's 35 8-box and 0 6-box. What the x-intercept means is that we could buy 48. So x-intercept means 48 6-box and 0 8-box. So what I want you to get out of that is that, for example, if we find a spot right here is a nice point here. This point here means that we can buy 15 6-box packs and 25 8-box packs. That's what the whole idea of graphing this line is all about. Notice we would only want to do that in a situation, let me back this up here so you can see that, in a situation like this where we have the line going through an exact intersection. If we took this point right here where it crosses this line, we really can't say whether that's 21 or 21 and a half or 22 or whatever 8 boxes. So you want to use spots where we have a nice clear point. And now let's move on to our essential question. The question is, how can the x-intercept and the y-intercept be used to graph a linear equation? Well, the answer to that is simple. If you know the x and the y-intercept, if, for example, the x-intercept is here and the y-intercept is here, it allows you to very accurately graph that particular line. As long as you can calculate the x-intercept and the y-intercept, you have 2 reference points, and then as long as you draw a straight line between them, you have a well-graphed line. Please press pause and do independent practice.